weekend compilation, here's another way, actually catching up to it. What is up, guys? This is Training Productions here. Welcome back to another awesome compilation I have you guys in store today. Now, these last 2 days, which happen to be this Monday and Tuesday, the 27th and 28th, I happen to go out rail fanning around the Oklahoma eastern side area. That includes the cities of Veneta, Claremore, Catoosa, Wagner, and much more here in this compilation. You're going to see all kinds of railroad action, both BNSF and Union Pacific, with a couple extra surprises as well that you'll see in the video. In the meantime, we're going to stick around Veneta and Claremore after this failed attempt to catch a Union Pacific trying to cross the diamond here in Claremore. This signal that you see here is Control Point Diggerat, and it's controlled by BNSF's Cherokee Dispatcher here in Claremore, Oklahoma. Now, notice as this train passes, which happens to be Union Pacific going north towards Kansas City, Kansas, watch the signals completely go dark. And yes, these are Control Point signals, mind that. Now, you might be asking the same questions I am. What does that mean? In my opinion, I believe it has something to do with the railroad's energy saving, as controlled by BNSF. Well, not just BNSF, Union Pacific and Kansas City Southern happen to do the same thing as well. When anybody on the line is not lined, or there's nothing within the block, the signals automatically turn off. I arrived here in Wagner, Oklahoma just in the nick of time to catch the southbound local coming from one side of Union Pacific to the other side as well, going to some industry that's only a mile down the track here. Not even 35 minutes later, that southbound local that you just saw that was going to some industry that was only a mile down the track already dropped off its cars, and the 3 Jeeps returned to the signal here at Wagner, waiting for a northbound to pass through. Excuse me, a southbound, as this train becomes a northbound now. The town of Wagner has a lot of freight service from Union Pacific, being at the intersection of the old Katy and Missouri Pacific lines, now both owned by Union Pacific. Union Pacific honors Wagner as a Train Town USA, one of 131 communities out of 7,300 communities it serves, because of the town's unique, long-standing relationship with the railroad itself that clearly still stands today. The current Union Pacific line, which used to be owned by the Katy and Missouri Pacific, which cross over each other at the town of Wagner, Oklahoma, now owned by the subdivisions from Union Pacific of the Cherokee and Wagner subdivisions, which cross over each other right in downtown Wagner. As you can see, train action all day, every day, at least 60 trains a day and night. As I was beginning to think that the signal here at Wagner was faulty, here came the southbound Union Pacific on the Cherokee subdivision for Union Pacific, heading southbound towards Muskogee. Now, pay attention to the consist of this train, especially the fourth locomotive and the rest of the cars toward the middle and rear of the train. You'll get quite a surprise. What you're looking at right here is the diamond here in downtown Wagner, Oklahoma. This southbound train that was heading towards Muskogee, Oklahoma was on the Cherokee subdivision. Now, this local that's now ready to depart north is coming from the Wagner subdivision, crossing over to the Cherokee subdivision, going up towards Pryor, Oklahoma, or wherever these locals come from. Just as I thought I was done for the day, here comes an unexpected northbound coming off of the Wagner subdivision, following this local, but instead of going up to the Cherokee subdivision, it's going to continue on to Coffeyville, Kansas, via the Wagner subdivision, as it will go through Claremore. I did try to chase this train up to Claremore, but unfortunately beat me before I could beat it. I saw them headlights and he came out of nowhere. Indeed he came out of nowhere. Sometimes, especially if you don't know these territories, and sometimes I don't even know these territories as well as others around here, it can be very hectic, especially with headlights coming around the corner. Just like for this local, as we head up to Catoosa, Oklahoma, as this local climbs the hill preparing to take the siding here at Control Point Tiger for an eastbound auto rack train. These days, it's hard as a rail fan here around Oklahoma. due to the excessive heat that we've been experiencing for the last, I don't know, couple weeks or even a month, as I want to say. And the train traffic has definitely slowed down a little bit since I moved back here to Tulsa, Oklahoma. But I'm hoping there will be better change in the future for train traffic as well as the economy to rise back up, unlike these gas prices, which are the only thing in the economy rising, as everything should rise as well, so we can get back in action for all of our railroaders, all of our truckers, and all of our industrial workers as well, especially airline employees like myself. Think an airline employee, a railroader, a trucker, or anybody in any kind of transportation industry. We work hard to make sure all of our passengers and our commodities get to where they need to go during these hard times as well. I moved up the hill at Control Point Tiger to catch this last train, which happened to be the eastbound empty Autorack train for BNSF, and that's going to call it a night, especially with this beautiful sunset as the temperature finally dropped to where I was able to come out of my car without the air conditioner as comfortably as I can in my shorts, tank top sheet, and flip-flops. unlike Pointer Rocks, Maryland, Brunswick, or even Hagerstown, Maryland, to catch all my ex-CSX and Norfolk Southern action, even Amtrak, it's hard to tell what you can catch different these days. Unlike BNSF out here, especially Union Pacific as well too, even Kansas City Southern, you never know what you can catch on these lines. They come out of nowhere, they're unexpected, and their train IDs are just like reading Japanese. They're very hard to at first, but once you get the hang of it, aka thanks to all the Oklahoma Rail fans for telling me about Cough Cough Trimmer Tower in Tulsa Yard. Anything is possible, right? The next day I scoot up to Claremore, Oklahoma, hearing there's an incident between a car versus train right in downtown. This was what was left of the result, as the driver of the car, who happened to be okay, was transported to the hospital. As I caught up with the train, which happened to be a high, wide, empty local that was going back to Kansas City or St. Louis, one of the two, was heading back west as the crew demanded that the next signal they do a crew swap, understandably, as our crew members were a little bit shaken up between the train versus car incident. Only injury was the driver, but not serious injuries as well, as I caught up with the train heading east. I decided to make this chase my last as we end the chase here in Verdigris, Oklahoma, as this train prepares to take the next signal at a stop. Due to the excessive length of this train, we would not be able to fit the Tiger siding, as eastbound was coming out of the yard to meet this train, so it makes sense. I apologize in advance. I know my editing skills and narration are definitely declining, as well as everything else in whole personally for me, due to the ongoing events that's been happening to me personally for the last year, as I wish to not disclose them in this video, but maybe in a future video to explain. If you did enjoy this video, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your continuous support, and maybe a future video will be in order. We'll see what happens. This is Strength Productions. We're out.